Back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. So happy to be sharing some energy with you today. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath, and what we do over here is we heal. And we heal in a myriad of different ways. We heal from pop culture, we heal from personal stories, we heal from live interactions. Those are my fave. I love it when my peeps pop in. And we heal from taking a look over the places that we began and ended regarding relationship dynamics. Well, tonight I have a treat for you for all of my DMs and my divine feminines. Are you with me? I hope you are, because I have an interesting thing for you to see. I received an email. I received many, but I received an email, which lets me know that people really want to find me, because I have been purposeful about not necessarily populating my information that much until now, until recently. So you guys will have a lot faster access to me and everything like that. I always like everything to be streamlined and intact. That's the Virgo in my chart. In any case, I'm going to be presenting something to you that's very streamlined and in the way that I'd like it to be. But what I will tell you here is this: I received a letter from a distorted masculine. He says he has stumbled upon my channel because he's studying divine feminine and twin flames. This is something that will happen, guys. And he asked me not to use his name, so I'm not going to. We'll give him an alias here. But he said that, and let me tell you, this is what happens. Your divine masculine, P-Jacks the assignment, they kamikaze it. And I told him, I emailed him back and I said, listen, quite frankly, I am going to utilize your story as a teaching point, because that's what I do. And he says, I understand. That's why I watch you. I was like, okay, fair is fair. But he asked me again not to go there regarding his name, and I won't. But what I will tell you is this happens, tale as old as time. Someone will have a fantastic relationship with somebody, or someone who is feeding into them and nurturing them, and what they will do. And he said it as much in the letter that what they will do is they will use our energy as divine feminines. So I already knew this because we've all experienced it if we've been through it. And they will take it to somebody else. They will take it to someone who is far lesser, not our competitor, no one that is our equal in any kind of capacity. And so they will do that. So they'll be like, yeah, keep feeding into me so that I can go be a narcissist and treat you like crap and sleep with other people and triangulate you or hurt your feelings, purposely try to throw it in your face that I have somebody else. Because, guys, like I say, I counsel people across the globe every day that Jesus sends. And let me tell you something: people have affairs, but they don't necessarily want their partners to be in despair. And I'm not advocating for it, but where the Scorpio sits in my chart, where the Scorpio resides in the eighth house, means that I'm here to break up your ideas about sexuality and to challenge that a little bit so that you understand that we're not a puritanical society, okay? I don't know why America thought so, but we are wild as a Taliban. Everybody is in their own right. Now, that doesn't mean that people can't be monogamous, but the people that I'm counseling sometimes aren't, and they're not being cruel. I'm not saying what they're doing is right, but I'm telling you there's a difference between the way that you were treated by a distorted masculine or a demonic masculine or whatever. We like to call them our DM, divine masculine. That's hilarious. It's not true. And for the gentleman listening who wrote the letter, thank you. But I'm going to be frank. I'm not censoring it just because you wrote me the letter. God bless you. Thank you for writing, though. It's great information. What I will tell you is this: people do sometimes cheat and have situations happen, but they're not cruel to their partners. When we have a level of cruelty that is heaped upon us, then you have something that you want to really take a look at, because you're dealing with someone who's being demonic and they want to hurt you. I counsel people who are like, I actually don't want my spouse to know. I feel torn. I want to get out of this relationship, or I want to stay in it. It's a myriad of experiences, but the truth of the truth, and the truth is fully this: that what you were dealing with is some level of narcissism and toxicity, at the very least. If someone is like throwing the other person in your face, it's called triangulation, and it's a tactic used by people with no self-esteem to siphon your self-esteem. Okay, so that's what I know. So that's one of the things. And from my own personal experience, it was where I drew the line. I was like, oh, you want my feelings to be hurt? Mighty fine. And now I shall return that to you times 10 and 20, and you can see exactly what it feels like to be me. But that's because I know how to transmute and alchemize energy. A lot of you guys do too. We turn pain into power. A lot of us empaths. So this guy writes me and he's like, listen, I screwed up. I effed up completely. I want to go home. I'm hearing home, let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. That song that was really popular on TikTok. He wants to go home. And he said, how do I get back? He's like, I've heard you talk about your journey. I've heard you counsel other people on this channel. But what I've never heard you say is like, how do we fix it when we fucked it up? This is truly his question. And I thought it was really a great question. And it also lets me know something else, because when you receive a physical message like that from somebody, there is an energetic stream of consciousness that is aligned with that. So the flow of the communication right now in the zeitgeist, especially at this eclipse season, full blood moon situation, right? Eclipses bring endings. So he has realized that there's a level of finality in the last 6 to 8 months, he said, where he could feel his divine feminine detaching from him for whatever fuckery he drug her through. And he did describe some of the fuckery. Thank you for letting me share. I'll share some of his story. But what I will tell you is that he felt that his woman that he loved, that he tried, and that he trampled. He said he trampled her. These are his words in his letter. He tried and that he trampled actually was pulling away energetically. She was no longer feeding him. She wasn't taking his calls anymore. All the rest of it, right? You guys know how all that will go. So she just stopped playing the game because she started to move on. And she did it quietly. See, a true divine feminine will move discreetly, just like I said about those affairs. She didn't have an affair. He did. He had several. She moved on and called in out of her despair a partner that would actually care and love her, as opposed to someone who was like thinking, treating her. Because he said what I did was, he said I'm listening to some of your stuff and I feel so much shame, which is, I'm like, good for him and good for you if you're listening, sir, because it means that you have room to grow. Not all are not, I'm not calling you a narcissist at all, but not all people that are toxic sometimes look at their behavior and say, oh my gosh, I have shame and I want to grow. And what has happened is I've gotten a lot of little letters like this. Well, I'll say a lot. I've gotten 5. Okay, guys, it's not been a lot, but I've got 5. And then I've seen some other TikToks and stuff like that from people who were like, man, I treated someone who loved me so good terribly. Then they left me finally. They got some sense and woke up and left me. And then I felt terrible. I took a year off. There's one that's really popular right now. He said he took a year off. He, excuse me, he found himself, and then he got into another relationship with someone who used and abused him exactly how he treated the other person, and left him high and dry and broke his heart. And then he tried to date someone else and it didn't work out. He was always searching for home. That person who he was clout chasing. And what I mean by that was like he was using her good vibration and energy to get fed spiritually. And then he would take it and look and go to the next one and be like, look how shiny and magical I am. And he said, and in this letter that I received too, the guy said to me, the woman told me when we were having the confrontation regarding the breakup and like, should it happen and whatever, she was like, do you think these women really care about you? They care about you because of me. Y'all, if you've been on my journey, you know that that is something that I said almost verbatim. And people will be like, that sounds so narcissistic and crazy. How could you say that? Are you a narcissist? No. Understand your power, divine feminine. Understand your power. I have a video up here called Your Poom Poom Full of Prestige. If you're exchanging sexual energy with someone, or even energy, because some of my divine feminines aren't even in sexual connections with their partner. If you're exchanging energy and you're lighting them up and you're infusing them with good, juicy connections and vitamin C and vitamin D, if it's sexy energy or whatever, and if you're exchanging energy with somebody, what I will tell you is that you make them shiny and new. Come aboard. They're enticing to other people who have no self-esteem. You're the love boat, divine feminine, and you are facilitating, creating, and drawing up the dream. And so that's what I want you to understand, is that the reason that you're divine masculine or distorted masculine or demonic masculine or disease masculine is so well seen and loved and adored is because people like when they see a light coming out and you are pouring the light into them. So this guy actually validated what I've been saying, which he agreed. He's like, I've heard your videos. And he's like, honestly, It's true. Like I was kind of a scrub. I don't want no scrub, right? He was like a not much of anything, and this woman like believed in him and shined him up. It reminds me of Kanye, 18 years, 18 years, and then anyway, Kanye wrote his own karma. Literally, all the songs that Kanye wrote, he's living out now, but backwards. When they get on, they leave your ass for a white girl. So the white girl is proverbial. I have another video up here about that. It doesn't have to actually be a white girl. What it does, what will happen though, is they will leave you for someone that they perceive to be better than you. They will let me upgrade you when you were really Beyonce upgrading them the whole time. Jay-Z was really, really full of himself, but it took the divine feminine energy of Beyonce to calm him and to break him out of all his hoeing ass ways. Took a long time. He had to do his own growing for days and days and days and put her through hell and gave us some great music and some show and tell. But she was a divine feminine that made other women want to be. Yes, he had his own power and prowess for sure. We're not attracted to people that don't have their own magnetism. And that's what I wanted to acknowledge to this guy. If you're listening, you have your own magnetism, but your divine feminine made it better. And he admits as much. And I just thought, I'm like, breaking news, guys. You guys need to hear this. This is fabulous. Hold on. Mm-hmm. You know, I've been in a hydrating kind of way lately. It's been water for water for me all day, especially on a full moon. So please hydrate. Anytime I drink, you drink, right? So water please, not alcohol. That's another thing. This masculine talked about how he devolved into his addictions and how he had like bar fly girlfriends and stuff like that, and he was really kind of leaning into it. And now he's like, I want to go home. He's like, I'm miserable. He's like, it's a groundhog day. It's all the things I've been saying and that I knew from my own journey. I didn't have to have a beep 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 Morse code back and forth with the person that tried me. I just I know what I'm watching. I pay attention to the trends. I pay attention to patterns and past behavior and where the sidewalk ends. And the sidewalk ended, shout out to Shel Silverstein, for this guy when his divine feminine left his life. Now, here's the thing. He said, what can I do? what can I do? Because every day he thinks about freaking her, and not just sexually. He like just wants back into her energy. And I asked him that. I said, we did a few little email exchanges. I said, so you want back into her energy, right? He was like, yeah, like desperately. Like, I miss her. She is the light. He gets it now. Like a moth to the flame, bought by the fire. Yes. He feels her desire. But what he's also watching, can I be honest, sir, if you're listening, is that she's moved into a different relationship. I'm not trying to rub that in your face if you're listening, sir. But she is moving into a different relationship and she's being treated like a queen. Someone loves her. Someone cares about her. Someone cares about her dreams. Someone supports her. And he was like, I purposely didn't do all that stuff because I wanted her to be thirsty for me. Y'all, this just in, breaking news. We have a live report from a masculine who, God bless him, we're going to give him a little bit, a modicum, a slice of love. Sir, if you're listening, I'm sorry. You know, I ride for my divine feminine tribe all day, all night. I'm so glad you found your way here. I don't know how your angels got you here. Maybe you'll rehab. Maybe one day we'll do a duet or a live together and we'll talk about this, okay? You guys know I have done that before with other people that have shared their story. I would love to interview a masculine on the other side of all things gory that he created and he's acknowledging it. That's why my hat's off to you, but I am going to talk a little shit here because this is for my feminine boos who have gone through it and I got to utilize this, and thank you. I'm grateful for you allowing me to do that. But sir, you knew you weren't right. And he said as much. He was like, I was dead wrong with the way that I dealt with her, and I deprived her purposely, and I threw other women in her face, and I triangulated her, and I played with her for days and days, and I smear campaigned her, and I talked shit about her to her family, and I made it seem like it was her and not me, but it was always me. That's not to say that the other person in the relationship doesn't have their flaws and idiosyncrasies. We do. But it is to say, it was so refreshing. It was like God was like cleansing me. I got all of that healed and dealt with years ago, where God showed me, like, girl, you know what happened in your situation. But it's been so validating to have these conversations with these masculines, distorted as they may be, to say, you know what? The problem was never her. It was always me. I really, really didn't appreciate her. And now he wants to go home. So here's what I'm going to ask for is a little help, a little help. What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? I want you guys to jump down in the comments below and let me know what you think he should do to get back home. If you watch this on a playback, I really want you to comment. This is not comment to drive up my algorithm or anything like that. You guys know that's just not even like what is for me will be for me. If one day it's supposed to be 20 people here and then the next day it's supposed to be 1,000, God will see fit for that. He is not a man that he should lie. He will provide. I just really actually want advice from you guys. My advice to this guy is to acknowledge what he did with her and apologize, because a lot of times in this dynamic, men don't apologize because they're fearful or whatever. And what they don't realize, and I never explained this to my ex or anybody that I ever dealt with, but they accrue more karma for that. Because when you do a wrong and then you're cognizant of it, there are some people that are narcissists that are just sad that they got caught and they're never ever going to cop to it. They're going to die on that hill. But I could hear the remorse in this guy's energy. I could feel it as well. Simbala Designs, he should do better and wait until the next lifetime. Simbala. I love you, Simbala. He should, that's so funny. I guess I'll see you next lifetime. Y'all know I can't sing. That doesn't stop me from trying. But I think that is really interesting, because Simbala, when I was in my situation, that's what I told the person energetically and actually. I was like, we don't get another go around in this lifetime. You tried the shit out of me, and I'm not going back. No backsies at all. You can't apologize to me. There's no explanation you could give me. You can't be like, I was out of my brain. I was on drugs. The sex was insane. I don't care. I don't care. Because the way that I was treated was for years and years. It wasn't just like a quick little hop and escape, and it wasn't all orchestrated by the quote unquote dun 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 third party. It was very much orchestrated by the divine masculine who was hating on me. Meanwhile, that third party loved me, XYZ to the third power. Y'all know how it goes. So that's some advice that you just received there, sir, from Simbala. And she's one of my day ones, and she is faithful as can be. And she's saying wait till next lifetime. I think, well, let's take the first part of her advice. She said do better. And I think that is really what you can do. You will not see there is a punishment, there is a consequence, there is a karmic debt that is heaped upon you when you disrespect a divine feminine. It's so funny. I learned this in my 20s. And so you can be in love with someone and think that it's easy to replicate, and it's not. I remember having a first love, and we were tumultuous and hot mess, and we were not supposed to be. But I thought when we broke up, it would just be easy, and I would just find someone else that loved me like she did and was as passionate about me like she was. And that didn't happen. It took years until I felt that connection again with a new person. And it wasn't until really that I met my husband that I actually felt the same kind of homey, like, oh, this is my person energy, right? So I dated lots of people between then, lots of women and a couple of men. And it wasn't until I met my husband that I was like, oh, this is home. You see, you do not get it that easy. And people that are cavalier and in their narcissistic ways will think I can replicate divine feminine easy as the day. As the day turns to night, I can get a new one that will act right. No, you won't. You will get Amber Heard, okay? You'll get a borderline personality, histrionic person who is using you that isn't attracted to you, but wants to suck you dry and use you and tell every lie. And that's what this guy was saying to me. He was like, I'm dating, trying to like get over her, and everyone is like a monster. Which lets me know there's hope for this guy, because he can see that he was a monster, and he can see that other people are monsters too. So Simbala says wait till next lifetime. Boo, I guess that's what you're gonna have to do, because I will tell you this about your divine feminine, and I said it to you as much in the email too, sir, is that she's not coming back to you. Because once bitten, 75 times shy. You bit her a lot. And can I say that from what you wrote me? And you admitted it. You bit her a lot. You did it repeatedly. You were purposeful. You cheated on her, he said, like 7 times. Y'all, what is she, Jesus? Even Jesus rested on the 7th day. Okay, I don't know. I was like, she's not a saint. She's a human. She's not a saint. She's just a sinner. So she puts her good foot down and makes a soul the winner. I respect that. Yeah, that's Jill Scott. She made her soul the winner. And of course, she's going to get treated well by somebody who actually loves her and values her eventually. It's what we all manifest into our lives. It's what I saw happen to me too, where I actually got a real booski in the way that I needed them to be. A lot of people called into question Babuski because they were threatened by the position that that person had in my life. And I have a life partner, y'all know that, but I have an emotional partner too. And they were threatened by that. And I was looking at all of them like, but it was never supposed to be you because you all had your opportunities to love me completely and freshly and clearly without needing clarification. That was not something that people took. Sometimes people will not see you clearly right away. That's okay, but that is their loss. So the Booski that I manifested and that God gave to me as a gift as for pain and suffering, my God, it was like a compensation for pain and suffering in the divorce decree, if you will, the spiritual divorce decree, is someone who saw me immediately. They saw me in all of my body and all of my weight that people had judged. They saw me in my idiosyncrasies. They saw me with my low self-esteem. They saw me out of the most broken place that I've ever been in my life, at the most angry place I've ever been, at the most bitter place I've ever been. I am Pollyanna, sunshine and bright. I'm a children's book author. I'm a writer. I'm a chef. I create good times, right? I plan parties, all that jazz. I even do rhymes. Y'all know me here. But I was broken because I was repeatedly downtrodden and abused time after time by someone who did it to be cruel, like this guy who wrote me. So when I got the Nubuski that was actually loving you, actually loving me, they loved me completely. They loved me and they saw me. They didn't judge me. They saw how I could improve and they encouraged me to do so, but they were not like, I don't love you because you're not just right in this way. And that's what this guy was telling me, is that he was noticing that his person is more beautiful than she's ever been. And she lost weight. He said she wasn't like really overweight, but she like went down like 25 pounds or something. He wrote this to me, guys. And this is what I think is so fascinating. If you think that your divine masculine or your distorted masculine, or your hater ass masculine isn't paying attention to your glow up, you are crazy. I don't care if you gain weight after the glow up or you lose weight after the glow up or whatever happens to you, that is your version of I glue up. Okay, whether it's more money that you're making real estate deals, you passed the bar, you have a child, whatever your version of glow is. We're women and we're amazing and we do things in so many different creative ways. Whatever way that you got better, they noticed that for days and days. And they're like, oh my God, how did I not realize she was so beautiful? She was so powerful. She was so articulate. She was so interesting. She was so diverse. She was healing her community. I had a guy write me once who says that his divine feminine started a soup kitchen after he tried the shit out of her for years and put her through a horrible, they almost ended up on snapped divorce. You guys heard me talk about the other day how my dad came in and was like, smite my ex-person. And I say smite like the Bible says smite. I do not think that he was actually saying, to unend her life or anything. God forgive me, that's not even in my energy. That's just not who I am. But that was how my dad was. He was abusive and he was a woman beater, actually a narcissist, and he was terribly abusive. And so even though he's crossed over and he's elevated, he still was so incensed at the treatment I was receiving, and it was a temptation. He was on my shoulder like the devil, and he was like, hey, how do you want to handle this? And I was like, not like you, homie. I'm breaking the generational curse, sir. We're not going there. I'm not going to be in anybody's jail for anybody, okay? A pair of boobies is never worth it. But that's what I have had men write me about, saying that their feminines were fighting women and like cutting tires, and I can't even fathom it, though I can fathom it. When you get pushed to a certain point, that's why people snap. Look at any Tyler Perry movie, a snapping can occur. And I think my angels wanted me, with my father coming in that way, to understand and have compassion for people that throw their life away that way. They wanted me to know, like, there but for the grace of God go any of us, meaning even Monette had that moment where it was like, are you going to punch this person in the face for lying to you and treating you horribly? I'm not violent, never been in a fight in my life. But that was the battle I fought that night, and I was pushed there by a narcissist. You get it? I was provoked and provoked and provoked quietly, throwing rocks and hiding in your hands, if anybody's familiar with that saying, okay? So this guy's wanting advice, but he told me that he pushed his person to that. The other guy that wrote me was like, my woman was going and slicing tires and fighting bitches and doing all kinds of stuff, but he said, I loved it. So I want you to hear that. Do not give into it. I'm so grateful that I never cussed out the other person, and I never like went to her house, and I never did any of the stuff, because the person I was really mad at was my person. I was like, anybody is a body. Anybody, I understand that people will be attracted. We are humans. We're attracted to many people. So you're not going to fight somebody that's attracted to your person. But when they're throwing them in your face cruelly, you are tempted to. And then you'll misconstrue it and think it's about the other woman. It's not. It's about you. Divine Feminine, hear me, it's always about you. Okay, your man is disrespecting you, or your woman, whatever masculine energy is in your life, they're disrespecting you, and they're recruiting other people that don't even know you, that probably might even like you if they were not being emotionally manipulated and gaslit, and they'd want to be your friend. I know that that's how it ended for me. And I was telling this guy that that's probably how it ended for his other somebodies too, that they started obsessively stalking the Divine Feminine, which is something that will happen, and then they get obsessed with you. And I knew that. I knew that at the end of it, the person that was used as a triangulation was like, damn, why is she? I think that they were judging my person, like my distorted masculine, like, why are you trying her like this? She's kind of awesome. I wish she was my friend. I wish I had someone like that in my life. I want to sleep with her. Her sexual energy is off the charts. Like, I understood I understood what my distorted crazy ass immature masculine did not understand. I was like, it's not you, boo, but let me prove it to you by removing myself. And I think that that's what happens for a lot of us as we remove ourselves. Now, for the guy who was like, my woman was running around town and almost hurting people, and she was acting out of character. She was like a church leader, and then she was acting out of character. Demonic energy transference is real. She was still sleeping with him, so she had like kind of pulled in some of that like low vibrational energy. And it happens to the best of us, whether you're sleeping with them or not. And he said, I saw her out of character, but I was excited. I loved it. I love that she was fighting over me. You see, guys, you think that you're like doing some major magical thing. These guys love it. Or these distorted low vibrational people are literally siphoning your energy when you get out of character. My angels are like, girl, you better sit pretty and straighten your back and act with grace. Do not give them a taste of your wrath or energy. They would have loved for me to be in the mud with those two pigs fighting with them. Now, this guy wants to go back home. Pardon me. Symbala said, act better and try next lifetime. That may be what you have to do, sir, because she's not going to take you back. And I did say as much in the letter. Excuse me. Oh, someone doesn't want me to speak now. I did say as much in the letter that she's not going to take you back, because it was such an attack and an assault. What happens, and this is what I explained to him, when a man degrades us repeatedly, or a masculine energy degrades us repeatedly, is that it blows out all of our chakras. So the amount of building back that she had to do to get rebalanced is immeasurable. We can never imagine what she went through. I know what she went through because I've been through it. I had to build back my self-esteem. I had to build back my heart chakra. I had to build back my sacral chakra because I was judging myself. I knew who I was sexually, y'all. We all are fantastic. Usually Divine Feminines are fantastic people in bed because we're doing mind, body, and soul rehab. It's not just sex, right? But I had to deal with that part of it. I had to deal with my base chakra, root chakra, which is about stability, because I thought I was building family. And I was building with someone who was a narcissist who was working against me. That person who wrote me said that he was working against this person, and I thought, fascinating. It was like, these are my confessions. It was fantastic to hear the truth of what I've known all these years, as I've worked with so many of you and counseled some of you too, is that they were actively working against you. They were agents of chaos, right? So the topic tonight, if you're just jumping in, is I had a masculine write me. He wants to go home. He treated his Divine Feminine horribly. He tried her. He cheated on her repeatedly. He stole her voice, her energy. He smear campaigned her, and now he misses her. He sees her in another relationship. She's doing well. She's thriving. He didn't even know she could be so magical. That's what he said. He was like, I didn't even know that she had this in her. He didn't say magical, but he said, I didn't know that she had this in her. And she did. Phoenix from an ashes, like most of us. Aren't we magical, guys? But he wants to go back. Is there any chance for rehab for this relationship? What's your opinion? I'm going to see what other comments there is. Symbala says, to me, that's the most hurtful thing, when people we love try us and try to get a strong reaction out of us on purpose. It's so hurtful. Like, why? Symbala, I agree. That was the greatest assault to me. I remember it was like, I describe it like fire ants like being slapped with a bunch of fire ants, repeated stings that are surprising, and you thought it was just going to be one thing, and then it's like a million little things. I've had people ask me, why did you divest? What made you stop? There was a lot of reasons. It was all a buildup. But the thing that I could never get over was that she purposely set out to be spiteful. The spitefulness, it reminds me of, as a former teacher, there are kids that will bite. She was a biter when she was in her younger life. But there's a certain kind of energy of a biter. And, we will all bite at a certain point, but then we grow out of it. The kids that still bite when they're like 7 and 8, these are like hateful, evil bitches. I just gotta say it, they are. And so she was a biter, and it never left her soul. She had the spirit of a biter. She had to have control, and if she couldn't have control, she was going to inflict pain. That's what I mean by there's a certain archetype and personality type of a biter. Okay, I'm not talking about sexy time or whatever. Y'all do your business. I'm not in your business. I'm talking about someone who was like, I will have control, and if not, I'm going to sink my teeth in you and hope to draw blood. That is what Symbol is talking about. When someone is trying to elicit a strong reaction out of you and they're like relentless about it. And so, guys, jump down in the comments if you're watching this on the playback. What should he do to get her back? Can he get her back? What I told him, and this is where my advice stands, is I don't think you get her back. I think you can try to be better. And I think that you can try to love more honestly. One of the things that he said he did specifically with her is he withheld communication. So she would try to talk to him. And y'all, when I say I can so relate, I can so relate. I was like, is there a textbook that you guys are reading for how to like create the most fuckery and dysfunction in a relationship? Because it's like a blueprint. They all do the same thing. But he said that he purposely withheld communication and that she was like begging him to talk and trying and trying and trying and like sitting down with him and whatever, and being like, what's wrong, what's going on, and how can I help, and what do you need more from, and that at some point she'd like turn into like a Stepford wife, he said. And he was like, and that turned me off so much because she was just doing everything to please me. Now he's saying to me, I want to go home because he's like, I've never been pleased so well. Man, the show and tell of that, guys, it's such a powerful story. Like, I want to go find this woman and high five her. I'm sorry if you're listening, sir, but and I'm grateful that you reached out to me. I hope you don't regret it, but I feel so much empathy for her because I know what that is to like kill yourself trying to make somebody see your value, and they're like, who's valuable? This piece of trash over here. And you know what? I'm going to throw it in your face because she's hot, or she's got, she's 2 inches taller or shorter or skinnier or whatever, right? It's always some little superficial, shallow how thing that they gravitate towards materialistically, whether it's about money or not. Materialism is not just money, it's about aesthetics as well. So whatever it is, and they're like, this is my person, this is meant to be, and they put so much time and energy into someone and they didn't put it into you. And when he told me that that lady had been just killing herself, like being a Stepford wife, and he was being mean to her, like she was too people pleasing, which is true. And guess what? Now he wishes someone would please him because he'll never have it again like that. I do think next lifetime, it's not going to be with her. The advice I would give you is cultivate a relationship with someone in this world and be honest with them. The big thing is communication. That was his biggest regret. I thought that was also fascinating. He said, I wish I would have talked to her when she was willing and wanting to talk to me, but I had to be in control. If we're taking a look at tarot, that would be the King of Swords. He had to be in control. King of Swords is cruel, cutting, and they don't care what they say, and they will hurt your feelings. Very Sagittarius energy in a lower vibration, right? So Sagittarius are very known as the archer for being like very blunt and cruel, either way you slice it, whether they're higher or low vibration, they just get right to the point. And so, because of how my lessons come, I always get things literally. So I actually had a Sagittarius energy who was low vibrational, who was cruel and cutting, and was also withholding communication that could have healed things because I'm good at healing. It's just what I do. And it's what you do too, Divine Feminine, but they didn't want to. So when he said that, it just triggered me in a way, not in a bad way, but it reminded me of like, I remember those days of trying to like communicate with someone, and a couple of conversations would have fixed it, but they didn't want to do their shadow work or the heavy lifting. They wanted me to lift it for them like I was their beast of burden, and they lost their damn mind. I was done. I was tired. I was like, no, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore with you. So here's what I will tell you about this is that if you're a masculine listening to this and you're like, I want to go home, I miss my person, I screwed it up, Next time you're in another relationship, communicate. Don't hold back. Don't and I don't say you have to like cut yourself and bleed out, but I'm saying communicate with them. Let them know what's going on with you. If you are in your narcissistic throes, be honest about that. You would be surprised that we're not as fragile as you think. I was so prepared because I already knew what was going on in my situation for them to just be honest with me. That was the healing. The healing was just to be like, you know what? I've been doing this, that, and the third. I've been loving it. And yeah, I've been a little wild and I haven't been considering your feelings. Of course we don't expect for them to say, I love hurting your feelings. It makes me feel great. But if they at least admit something, then you can transmute the energy. That's not what that my person wanted. And he said that's not what he wanted in his connection. He was like, I like seeing her hurt. I like seeing her be in misery. I like seeing her scramble trying to figure out what was wrong with me. I like the power I felt when I would give her the silent treatment. And I'm not going to lie to you, sir, not a violent person, but I would have done a roundhouse Chuck Norris kick to your throat if I was around you when you said that. Because that's how I felt in my own situation. An imaginary, figurative roundhouse Chuck Norris kick to your throat. Like, it just breaks my heart because I know the pain of having someone deprive you of communication and they think they're punishing you and they're really punishing them. It reminds me of what Beyonce says in her song, the Beyonce, when she says, when you hurt me, you hurt yourself. Don't mess around and lose your wife. And that's what's happened to this guy, unfortunately, is he lost his wife. He thought hurting her was good, and he was eliciting and drawing out all this good, juicy supply. Who he hurt was himself in the sweet by and by, because he could never get back that kind of energy, and he can't replicate a divine feminine. A divine feminine is an alchemist, meaning they will change the pain you gave them. They will turn it into whatever magical thing he's witnessing. Like, she lost her 25 pounds. She looks amazing. She's like in the gym. She's attractive. Her Facebook is popping. Her TikTok, her Instagram, whatever, right? So he's like, I notice that people are always in her DMs because he's like stalking her life. I mean, and that's another thing. He says that he stalks her life. Can I say that, sir? Sorry, I'm saying it. You stalk her life. And the reason I'm saying this to you is because this is such juicy intel. I'm sure another mask is never going to write me again, but okay. Oh, well, thank you for being a guinea pig. Because I respect you for writing me, but I don't respect what you did. And you will have to atone for that. And you will have to make amends. And not to me. I hear your story, and what it did for me, it was like you were sent. Thank you, God sent you, and I'm appreciative because it lets me know how masculines feel. Not everyone will feel this way, and some of them will just be like, "I'm mad, I got caught." But he has some remorse, and I felt bad for him. But he said he stalks their life. He was watching every single thing that was posted, everybody that liked everything, every comment that was made. We all have our own social medias. We all are the main character. Like that's just a situation now of our life. So you can see that. Now, me personally, I prefer the good old 80s where you couldn't like find everybody that way. I wish one of the most painful things, and I said, you really should stop doing that because it's so invasive. I did tell him that in my response letter, in one of my response letters to him, because one of the things that I hated in the beginning, and it's one of the reasons that I went off screen for a while, and then I had like medical issues, and it was like really that was I knew that either that person or the persons that she triangulated with me with, the village that she triangulated me with, were watching. And I hated that because I thought, I'm not looking at you. I've never once, when I cut someone off, the way that my chart's set up is that it's a permanent thing. I'm never looking back. I don't look you up. I don't see if you have a new booski. I don't see if you got a new dog. I don't care. I don't care, because if you hurt me enough for me to want you out of my life and to cut you out like a cancer because you're a toxic poison, then a malignant toxic poison that was spreading, I don't look back. I don't play games with that because I understand how energy works. And I also don't break your own heart, because at first when you still love them, that will hurt. So I cut off everything, y'all, from Venmo to whatever, to whatever, to whatever, to whatever. The last time that I saw any transaction or anything between her and anybody else, it was literally on Venmo, and it was one of her flying monkeys that was paying for something for her. And it was so funny because I had gone in to delete her off of my Venmo, and I realized how many times, and it's okay. We all do things because we want to prove ourselves, right? And this is what I related to with that woman turning into a Stepford wife, how much I was sending her money and how much she never did anything for me, but she was doing money things for other people. And it's not about money, y'all. I'm very well taken care of and provided for. I provide for myself. Amen to badass women that work hard. So I am good. God provides for me. When I say well provided for, I am provided for by the universe. So that was never anything I wanted from her, but it was very telling to me that she had no problem spending money, time, and energy with other people. She was using all of my time, money, and energy and taking it to other people in every way, literally, actually, figuratively, financially, fiscally. And so that was the last thing. And she was having flying monkey pasta. That's what I called it as I journaled about it. I wrote a book about it. I am debating, now that I'm healed over it, maybe the book was cathartic. I don't know if I'll ever put it out. Comment below if it's anything you guys would be interested in seeing. But I wrote a book about it, and I feel it was good information and intel as I was going through it in the throes of it. But that was in the first couple weeks, and that was the last thing that I blocked her on was Venmo. And I remember seeing the flying monkey pasta. and I was like, oh, you broke bitch. May this be all your days. No, because I was bitter at the time, But beyond that, I was like, wow. It was nice to actually see how non-transactional our relationship was and how much I gave to her, but she didn't give to me. It was literally, there was a receipt account of it. And I was like, this is fascinating to me. And yeah, I divested. So that was the last time that I was in anything. And it wasn't me even snooping. It was just me, like my angels were like, block her on everything. And I did. And then I just happened to see that as I pulled up our, like our history. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad. So, and what happens too, the reason that I say block them and don't look back is because there will be times in your journey of a breakup from a distorted masculine where you will feel revengeful or vengeful, or you'll feel bitter or sad or mopey or weepy, and you'll want to reach out to them. My advice, and I wrote this as a chapter in the book, is cut them off and don't look back. Because Lot's wife is the name of that chapter. Don't look back, because what happened is because I listened to my angels when they gave me really clear, explicit instructions at the beginning when I was fresh in my pain. It saved me from doing anything stupid, from reaching out to her, from cussing out that other person, all the little impetuous, kind of immature, reactionary things we will do as we process in the ebbs and flow of any kind of disconnection from a partner. And so it saved me from myself. Now, fortunately, I wasn't really that tempted, but I made a fail safe. So I did it on a strong day. I got a strong message. This must be for someone listening. Cut off all of that look-see back shit. Stop it. Do not allow that, because it has a power over you when you stay connected. When I talk about assault divorce, and I talk about, and that's something I recommend to the guy listening, if you're listening still, if you're still here, God bless you, do assault divorce. I have a video up about that. I have it from the perspective of the divine feminine who's been tried and tried, probably something that your wife or, well, ex, whatever she is, should have done. But you can do it too. And I recommended it to my toxic, miserable person as well. I was like, hey, because I knew what Beyonce said was true. When you hurt me, you hurt yourself. She had ostracized me and excluded me and ghosted me and Caspered me and did it all in my face and expected me to like pretend that it wasn't happening. But I loved her so much in the beginning of that disembarkation. This has changed. Hold on. Mm. Every time I take a drink, it's fascinating. I'm coughing. I loved her so much in the beginning of that disconnection that I didn't want her to hurt. I was still connected to her and I still loved her. So I knew that when she sobered up, woke up, grew up, threw up, I knew that one day she would realize, wow, I orchestrated all of this from my insecurities and from misinformation and from letting other people that don't know my person convince me of things and then convincing them of things because I enjoyed being low vibrational because she's a biter energetically, right? She's a biter. And that was something I knew it would be painful for the part of her that wasn't corrupted and fully narcissistic. I don't know if now that I look back on it, I don't know that any part of her isn't corrupted and fully narcissistic. I think that I was still in my own delusion, but because I did care, and I imagine that there was some human part still in, part of her that was soulful and caring, I didn't want her to hurt because, she's never been in a real relationship, really, where someone loved her and disembarked properly and it wasn't just evilness and silent treatments and whatever. And I was like, even in this, as you've tried me, I still am a teacher to the end of it. And you're going to learn that this is what people do when they're responsible. It's not just a kick in the face and a silent treatment melt away. That's what she did because she was immature and she never took accountability. But even in that, I was still a teacher. And some of you guys have had to be in that position where I was like, no, this is how adults divorce each other. It's ignoring acknowledged. It's mutual. Yes, you mutually lie, you secretly on one side lied to me and had a whole secret life and all the rest of it on some lifetime shit. But even though I know it and you're going to lie and deny it, cool, we're still going to acknowledge that we are separating. And I advise that you do it. She could have thought that I was just being bossy. She could have thought I was being a bitch. She could have been scared. She could have been in fear. She could have been sad. She could have been glad. She could have been happy. I don't know. But I did have an adult conversation where I said, I am letting you go. And I advise highly that you do the same, because I don't want her doing the stalking game, even though I don't think she listened to me, because I felt a lot of that energy, unfortunately. But I did not look back. Don't know a damn thing about her. Don't know what her face looks like. Don't know if she lost her teeth from the crystal meth. I don't know. I never wanted to see her again. It's so funny. I've been watching the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, and Johnny did something that I thought was so powerful, but I so related. Amber came and she's doing this whole clingy thing. I'll see if I can find the clip and put it up for on the community page. She's doing this whole clingy thing where she was like, just hug me, Johnny. Just look at me, Johnny. Just love me, Johnny. He's like, bro. Like, I mean, he's like, Amber, after all of the shit you just said, this is after she's like levied these defamation accusations and ruined his career and sued him and got 7 million and the whole thing. And he's like, you just like upended my life. He's like, in this industry, I can't clear it. And she was like, take your glasses off, Johnny. Just hug me. Just touch me. And he was like, I'm never taking my glasses off. I'm never looking at you again. And it was replayed in the trial recently. I don't know if any of you guys saw that. And I thought that's exactly, it's so crazy. When you are dealing with someone who's borderline personality and histrionic and a narcissist and cruel and evil and silent treaty and just a hot, immature, alcoholic, addicted, crazy mess. And Amber, these are the character testimonies that people repeatedly say about her, not just Johnny's witnesses. People are like, she's horrible. Okay? So when you're dealing with someone like that, it's really interesting, because that's all they want is your gaze. They want you to pay attention to them. They will get attention from you, whether it's good or bad, and they will be relentless. And this is admitted by the guy who wrote me. He said, I wanted her attention, so I purposely would provoke her and like look to see if she was paying attention to the fact that I was texting in front of her, that I was being disrespectful when we should have been having dinner. All these things happened to me. So I was like, man, I was like reliving all of that. And fortunately I've healed, so it didn't make me want to like crawl up in a ball and cry. But I was like, check. I remember those times. And it was so weird because I was long distance and the person still found a way to treat me like shit to my face. It wasn't like we were in front of each other's face every day. She had to go out of her way to be cruel to me on the very limited times that I was around her, to let me see that she was happy with some other trashy somebody, you know? And so when Johnny said, I'm not going to look at you, man, I was like, that's powerful. And even in the trial, he's had his glasses on and the lawyer said, have you noticed that Johnny's not looking at you? And she said, yes. And she said, I've noticed you looking at him. And she said, yes, I have. But Johnny will not catch eyes with her. Greatest punishment to a narcissist and a crazy person ever. And so let's use that figuratively. The fact that this masculine who wrote me says that this woman will not even give him the time of day breaks his soul open. Now, I did not plan that way in my situation. See, the thing is, we don't go out to hurt them. We might be hurt, we might be resentful, we might be vengeful. Those days ebb and flow. But I never intended to hurt her. And I told her so in the disembarkation when I was like, you tried the shit out of me. You discarded me. You didn't protect me. You didn't stand up for me. And you created this whole fake story and you're full of it. And when I did talk to her and I disembarked and I told her that, and she was like, I got the karma you wished on me, all dramatic. And I was like, ma'am, you created your own karma. And I said, here's the get out of jail free card. Hopefully you didn't do all the things that I know that you did to me. That means you won't have karma. But if you did, get ready. But run for cover. Buckle up, buttercup, because it's about to get rough. Because what does the Bible say, guys? Touch not my beloved and do my prophet no harm. Divine feminine, we are prophets. We are beloved. We are beloved of the Creator. We are people that carry things on our back energetically, and we are protected actually by people that love us and people in our ancestry. So that's a quick message to this guy. It's not a quick message at all, but that's a message to this guy. There's nothing that you can really do. She is protected and she's not going to lock eyes with you. She's not going to give you her energy. That's something that I removed completely. I also lost respect, attraction, and interest in every way. So that's something else that you need to know too, is a reality for you. And for the guy listening, she may have really, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but she may have really lost her interest in you. Because when someone abuses you repeatedly and goes out of their way to be cruel, as Symbala said, it's such a turn off, and it's like it's the first time I think that a lot of us sweet empaths wake up. We're like, oh, the world is really mean. It was really like, the world is mean because we've dealt with that. But when you love somebody, you don't expect that from someone who you pour into. And he said he went out of his way to provoke her, to hurt her, because he wanted her attention and he wanted her to do better. Then he realized that no one's ever going to do better than she ever could do. And now he's just lost in the sea. He doesn't want to be free, and he wants to go home where it was the only place he was once happy. And while my heart goes out to you, I advise you, like Symbala, to do better. You don't get this one back. Sometimes, and that's the thing about adulting. It's something I learned as a preschool teacher. There would be times where I'd have to take away something from a kid, put them in timeout, and those were the consequences. They could not regain back that playtime they lost, and they couldn't regain back the whatever thing that was taken away as a consequence. And I struggled with that. And my director talked to me, and she said, this is how it goes, and this is adulting, and this is how we're teaching them to their preschoolers, but to know that there are consequences to your actions. Narcissists don't take accountability, and they don't really like ever really apologize. Toxic people don't. I don't know that this guy's a narcissist. I would say he was toxic for sure, and he was behaving badly. He also said he was dealing with addictions too. That will take you out of a low vibration and imbue you with a lot of demonic energy. I'm not trying to scare you, sir, but that's what happens. Whenever you are lowering your inhibitions regarding taking in alcohol and drugs to a high degree, what you will do, and I'm not talking about smoking weed, I'm talking about like drugs and alcohol, right? So what that happens is lower vibrational people are attached to you that have entities, and it's a fact. Just because we're on this channel and it's not anything that you can see doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I watched it happen with my person where she just was completely, she was never nice. She was always kind of a bitch, but she definitely devolved into something that it was otherworldly and creepy, and I was disgusted because the light doesn't exist with the dark. It is what it is, right? And we were repulsive to each other. I was no longer attracted, she was no longer attracted, like we were the magnets with the south magnets, where they repel each other. So, but yes, when you lower your inhibitions, you will get demonic entities. One of the other things, and I'll leave this as one of the last things here, he said, is that she stopped sleeping with him. He was pissed about that because they had a really great sexual energy. He loved her sexual energy. I explained to him the reason that he loved it. I don't care if she was doing backflips on a handstand and it was, the wettest, bestest, whatever. What he loved about her sexual energy was her energy. The Divine Feminines, we come with fantastic energy, and so sex with us is a complete thing. So even the women that are like, I'll take your man right out the box and put her under our padlock, they never can. They could sleep with them in 27 ways to Sunday upside down from a chandelier. The kind of sex that we are providing is nowhere near what they are giving. It's low brow, it's low bar, and it's lazy. What we give is everything, baby. You know what I'm saying, Divine Feminine? And he cooperated it, which I kind of loved. He was like, I've never had better sex in my life. And he's like, am I now doomed for the rest of my life to never have that kind of sexual exchange? And it's because we are full immersion, full enmeshment in a way with somebody, and we give ourselves to them. So if he was into dom, sub things in a light way, he said it wasn't anything like over the top, he'll never have that again, because the Divine Feminine who loves you will submit to you completely, or if they want to dominate you, will dominate you completely, but it will be every kink, and it's perceived. It's a psychic experience. It's telepathic. There doesn't have to be a lot of communication about it because we are communicating with you in every way. So when we come into that synergy, it doesn't just make your day, it makes your life. And I'm not just saying that. I am a big girl who has lived my life, who loves sex in every capacity, but and I've had it with men and women, but what I'm telling you is the feedback that I get, doesn't matter what my body looks like, is that sex is right. Okay? And so that's what you need to know for yourself. So if you got a banging body and you're doing a backflip and a handstand because you're at the gym 6 times a day, God bless you. I bet it's even better too. But what I will tell you is this: they cannot replicate the sexual experience that they had with you. And that's something that he said. And sir, I don't know if you'll be brave enough to chime in below, but he says that's something that he misses. And he was like, will I ever have that kind of sex life again? And I was like, unless you find another divine feminine that you don't dog. I mean, I don't think so. Because yeah, you can have empty sex and lots of it. And he said that's exactly what he's had. He was like, I have had slept with a lot of people. I'm not trying to run his numbers. He didn't give me the numbers, but he's like, I've slept with a lot of people trying to fill the void, and nothing feels like my divine feminine. Man, my heart broke for him. He wants to go home, but I don't think you can go home again. There is no place like home. If you are distorted masculine and you are listening and you're in the midstream of treating your divine feminine like crap, stop. Stop, 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 stop. Because once you're out, you can't go back. So if I hope that this catches somebody who is in the middle of abuse or in the middle of misusing or treating badly someone that God sent to you as a partner. Because guys, what happens is we are sent to these people to help them heal. Whatever their wounding is, whether it's a mother wound, a communication wound, maybe a sexual issue, proclivities, maybe it's some addictions, we are sent to help heal, because that's what all helpmates do. And he asked me actually what was happening in the other relationship, almost like he wanted a prediction, I would say. And while I didn't give that to him then, I'll tell you here if you're listening, she's getting healed. I have a video I put up recently that says that we can only heal inside of relationships. If you have relationship trauma, which you gave her, sir, the only way that God can heal her is to give her a person who now loves her and nourishes her back to health. Hopefully she doesn't sabotage it, because it's something we will do sometimes. Minor sabotages, I have to catch myself even in my new relationship where I feel triggered sometimes by my person, and not because she's done anything really wrong to me at all, but because I remember things from the ex. And if there's any kind of symmetry to it, I freak out a little bit. Or if it feels, it's weird. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. I mean, yeah, in the arms of the angel, Q Sarah McLaughlin in the ASPCA commercials. A lot of us divine feminines are left like abused shelter animals, really. And then someone comes in and they adopt us and they love us back to health. But we're skittish still. And I definitely noticed in my own relationship that I have been skittish, which is weird for me because I was like the most like, I am going to love you right up in your lap. I just adore you. And I'll never take it back. Like that was how I used to love. But when someone goes out of their way to be cruel to you, to break you, you're guarded after that. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't going to love you. All I love. Okay. So I was definitely going to have a friendship with somebody that loved me back. But that's what I told him. And well, I'm telling you now, she is manifesting, and she manifested somebody that's going to love her down. And I'm sorry if that triggers you to hear, but she was triggered year after year watching you try to fake love down people that were beneath her. And it was heartbreaking for her, I can promise you. And what I will also tell you about that is that she deserves to be loved back. And he did say as much in the letter. He was like, she does deserve someone that loves her. I just want it to be me. He's like, I don't want it to be anybody else. I get it now and I want to love her right. But the universe doesn't trust him and doesn't trust you, sir. That's what you need to know with the plight of loving her, because you fumbled the ball so many times. You had everything in your hand and you just didn't love her right. So that is what the message is for tonight. If you're a distorted masculine and you want to get right and you find some act right in your soul and you want to love your person and you want to take back control, apologize to her. That will lessen your karma. So definitely apologize to her full-throated, like, I know you hate me, but XYZ to the third power, I got to say this to you. And what that's going to do is break you free a little bit to now move on to another relationship where you can hopefully rehab yourself and then treat somebody else right properly. If you never apologize, because there are a lot of guys that don't, a lot of masculine energies that refuse to, they want to die on the hill, I wasn't wrong, it was you. What happens is they condemn themselves to Groundhog's Day, a lifetime of misery, of replicated relationships where they're never happy, where people leave them, where people use them, where people abuse them. There's a whole internet full of these stories from TikTok to Instagram. Go find them. I'm telling you, no lies. These are not just a few five guys that have written me. Five guys, burgers and fries. Yeah. Yeah. Why did I say that? That's so interesting. Yeah. Well, your guy thought that they could fill themselves up with a bunch of fries, but everybody really likes a good juicy burger. And Divine Feminine, you were the burger. Thank you, angels, for that quick analogy. You know how at Five Guys, have you guys ever been to that restaurant? They give you fries in a cup, but they put it in a bag and they just like overfill the bag. It's just like, that's kind of one of the things they're known for. The fries are fantastic too. Little malt vinegar, chef's kiss, right? Not gluten-free, but chef's kiss. Back in the day for me. But what I will tell you is this: your Booski or your ex or your distorted masculine was filling up on fries. And Five Guys is renowned, like world renowned, for having some of the best burgers in town. And they get rated and they're on the Zagat's list and all that stuff, right? Because their burgers are juicy and they're magical and they taste good and there's no filler and they're freshly cooked and there's the Maillard effect. Maillard is a scientist who discovered that caramelizing things makes things taste better. So they put it on that flat top grill and it's got that caramelization. It's delicious and juicy and you can add all the toppings you want. That's us, Divine Feminines. Unlimited toppings, good juicy warm burger patties, deliciousness. And your masculine, distorted, or whatever decided, you know what, I want the fries. And the fries are great. Who doesn't love a good, fresh, hot fry? But what do we know about a fry? You can't reheat them. You have to eat them all at that time, or they're not good like the second time around. You can reheat a burger patty and still get down, right? A burger patty is always going to be good to you, but a fry serves its purpose and it's for a limited time. Oh, girl, that was a great analogy, Angels. Thank you. Fries are for a limited time. Who's ever had a McDonald's fry that's right out of the fryer? So hot, juicy, delicious, magical. Yeah? And then like a few minutes later, nothing. That's exactly, ooh, the channel message. It's the messages for me, Angels. That's what your masculine, for any feminines listening to this, is experiencing. So even if you didn't have a love relationship and maybe like a bestie betrayed you or you had a friendship fail or a coworker fallout or whatever, whoever they triangulated you for are the fries. Yes, they were delicious at the time, but they only hold their value for such amount of time. There is no protein to be found there. There is no whatever, whatever, whatever. You get it, guys? So that's what happened is your masculine decided he wanted a bunch of fries and was like, who needs a burger? And now they're wishing they could sink their teeth into a good old juicy burger. Okay? So that's what you need to know. I don't think you get to go home, sir. I'm glad you wrote me because it was great information to teach. But your feminine is free. And when I tell you she's free, she's like eyes free, like she escaped slavery free. She's not looking back. I will tell you that from my own experience. Wouldn't take nothing from my journey now. I don't care if my person appeared to me in gilded gold and was like, please, singing Boys to Men, it's the end of the road. That's the Boys to Men I would be singing her, okay? Because I just have no patience or tolerance for the masculine energy in my life. And it's not because I hate them. Now I don't. That doesn't mean I didn't, okay? I certainly went through those things. I don't feel anything for her at all other than you were a fantastic lesson and you taught me so many things. But here's one of the things too, because he said to me this, I don't want her to forever think of me in the last way she saw me. I thought it was really powerful. And I got to tell you this. I didn't answer you back to that because I was kind of struck by your honesty. I am hoping for you that you find somebody that you love, that loves you too. And I hope you don't treat them badly and recycle bad behavior. I really pray that over you. I'm not wishing evil on you at all. I really, really hope you find someone that loves you, sir. But what he said struck me because I knew just from my own experience, and comment below if you've been through this, that is the last picture you have of them. I think about my person and I think if she changed or would I care or could she change? No, I feel like I'll never not remember her how she was in the way that she was to me. That's just how that goes. That's how our memories work. So yes, I remember like the good times that made us laugh. Yeah, I remember all of that, right? But very little, and it was always around addictions and debauchery and so yeah, I remember it, but it wasn't like fulfilling and nourishing to me, right? What I will never forget is the cruelty, what Simbala talked about, the fact that she purposely went out of her way to hurt me. I couldn't, it was like I couldn't compute. It was like a broken robot. I was like, what are you do? I didn't understand it because I would never in 10,000 lifetimes have done that to her. And she did it to me. And she did it happily and she plotted on me and she was spiteful. And unfortunately, that's the snapshot that I have of her. She's forever a crystal method and crackhead and alcoholic, parent neglecting, like a child neglecting. Like I will never forget the many faces she showed me. I see your true colors shining through. Unfortunately, I did, and I never will unsee that. So there is no back, because I'm mad at her for all of those things. And even though I had to work through releasing that, the child neglecting part for me, we all have a different button that gets pushed with the distorted masculine. But that part for me, it was the child neglecting for me, sis, as the kids say. I was like, oh, 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 this wasn't just like some fluke in your 20s because you were, love sprung. Cool. This is how you always are, love sprung or not, and love sprung just makes it worse. Never forgive her. I don't give a damn about how many Go-Gurts or Dorito packs she bought or ring ding dongs, or how many times she thinks she did something. There are integral parts of parenting that we don't get to divest from. And so I gotta be honest, my judgment is heavy with that. And I don't forgive her at all for that. Like, I have done a lot of forgiving for some of the stuff she did to me, but when it comes to kids, I could never, yeah, there's never a way back. And so that's my snapshot of her. I have this picture of how she was a horrible person, and I will not forgive her for the kid stuff. But what I will tell you is that for this guy listening, your person probably has remembrances of you too. She may not move past some of those. And I want to tell you why that happens. It's a fail safe so that we don't repeat past mistakes or cycles. That person for me had me in a cycle repeatedly and wanted me to always just wait forever for her to figure out her life while she was a hot mess and she was delighting in cruelty and craziness and mental illness, right? And I realized, like, I got to break out of this. And I think that's probably what happened with your feminine too, sir. If you're, listening, that's what happened. She was like, I'm going to be in this cycle forever while you're just getting fantastic supply from me. Remember when you said you liked getting a response from her? That was you getting great supply from her. And she was like, I want to be loved. I want to be loved, not for who you think I am or who you want me to be. Can you love me for me? Real love with no strings attached. We all have expectations, right? Stipulations and whatever. But what you did to her was cruel. And it was an endeavor she can't forget. And she can't reimagine you. Yes, you could show up now, but what I would tell you is that she's going to always be waiting for the other shoe to drop. When the person tried to apologize to me in my life, I was like, that's nice, but we'll be right back here, because she'd already apologized and cried fake crocodile tears, and Amber herded her way through. But really, she was pissed at me for even asking her to hold accountability and deal with me properly and not throw someone in my face. How dare I have boundaries? And that's why I know that she was a fucking alligator. She was never going to be any different. And I remember her as such. I see her as like this. Now I see her as like a bloated alligator in the swamp. So she probably is not doing good. I don't know why that vision just came to me, like an alligator that's like decomposing. So that's interesting, and that's an unfortunate vision. But what I remember is the vicious alligator that was like swimming at me at high speed, that was like, if I could get you in my fucking teeth, I would destroy you. And that's the place that I remember her at. So I'm not going back. I don't care if she's like, I'm a teddy bear now. Great. Be a teddy bear for somebody else. be committed to the family you're committed to, and do all the things that you wanted to do. So that's the thing about it, is once we get bitten by you guys, we just usually don't see you with the same eyes. I'll never see her. I don't remember any of the attraction. I don't remember any of the things that were redeeming about her. I see her as a horrible person through and through. I will never see her any differently. I don't care if she becomes Mother Teresa and she opens like 17 orphanages. I'll be like, please, kids, watch out. She's poisoning you. Please, like, I just don't trust her. And that is my own thing. Maybe I need some more growing to do, but that's the truth. If you wanted to hear the truth, you wrote me for the truth. You said you knew I would tell you the truth, and that's the truth. The way that you treated her will be the way that she remembers you, because that was the most pervasive thing she received from you in the last couple of years before the disembarkation happened. It was the terrible, repeated, bad behavior. It was the intentional cruelty. It was the withholding of communication. It was the silent treatment. It was the triangulation. It was the throwing other women in her face. She'll never forget that part of you, because you brought her disgrace. You humiliated her. That's the word, humiliation. So what you can do is rehab yourself and try again. Symbol never lied. Maybe next lifetime, not with her. What next lifetime with her? I even said that to my person. I was like, I don't want no more lifetimes with you. I'm not in this fantasy soulmate twin flame thing anymore. Bye. Bye, boo. Bye forever. I don't want to see you. I don't want any reiteration of you. I don't want to date another version of you. I don't want to love another version of you. I don't want to friend another version of you. I don't want to sex another version of you. I find you to be repulsive in every way. And that's okay. That's what happens. It flips. We are supposed to learn that lesson. What you taught her, as I finish, is this: to love herself. You taught her to value herself. You taught her her worth. You taught her what she deserves. And I guess that's something that you can go to sleep with at night. And I pray for you that you find your own light and that you stop stalking her. God bless America. I know it's hard because now you're just obsessed with her, and that happens. And Divine Feminine listening out of the mouth of this own guy, it happens. They get obsessed with us and they start to like, oh, why? Why didn't now I see the truth. Now I get it. Whatever. It's too late. It's too late to apologize. It's too late. Yeah, it's the end for you and me. It's too late. That part I have to say, I'm sorry. I thought I was going to try to give you some hope, but the truth is, you got to own this. There's no soap on a rope. There's no redemption here. You own this. You did it. You created it. You did it repeatedly. There are a lot of things that can be forgiven if something happens accidentally. I have dated people who have fallen for somebody else, or things have happened, and I've had that happen with me too. Things can be worked through. There isn't anything that can't be worked through. I'm pretty liberal. That's just me. I don't know what your Divine Feminine was like. I'm liberal. I understand other attractions. I understand other crushes. I get that. But what I don't get is us not working as a team cohesively, because now we're off track and I can't trust you. My person had split loyalties, and actually, I don't think she had loyalty to anybody but her own self. But at the time, that's how I saw her. I was, and I don't do that. I don't know what sign your Divine Feminine is, sir, but for me, loyalty is the coup de grace. That's it. If you're not loyal, then I can't be involved with it. That is something I will just absolutely just, I never will look back. That was really it. There were so many really its, but that was really it. The disloyalty and the cruelty. I was like, oh, girl. It is a disloyalty for me, sis. I'm out of here. And you are disloyal to your person, so she's not going to give you another chance. And now, this is why I say to anybody that is midstream of a fuck up, stop. Because what will happen is they will get a partner who is so juicy, so loving, so amazing, maybe so sexy, if sexy is what they were going for, attractive, nurturing, maybe fathering, maybe mothering, whatever the thing is that you created the purposeful deficit of, God will send that to them for their pain and suffering, and it will be so good they will not look back at you, even if you were juggling on a unicycle. Only love. If you were juggling just boxes of chocolates and diamond rings, they would be like, huh, that's a really cool show. I've seen that at a Renaissance fair before. Come on, Bay, let's go. And the Bay they're talking to is not going to be you, sir. It's going to be whoever is standing next to them that is loving the shit out of them, that is sexing them crazy, that is emotionally fulfilling them, if that's their jam, that is creating babies with them, whatever, whatever deficit you purposely created. Because I've had men talk about how they like talk women into abortions. I know I shouldn't say that on YouTube, but it is what it is. Like whatever you wouldn't let them have, or they would like, let's don't have kids, or this, that, and the third. They will get in spades exactly what you did not give, whether it be travel or good communication or consistency on a daily basis or whatever. Trust me, I know, because in whatever I was deprived from, I'm receiving it in spades from my connection. And I didn't ask for it, nor did I think I was going to get it. I just thought, well, I'll just leave the person and move on. They're terrible and I don't deserve this. I deserve so much better. And the universe said, yes, sis, you get it. That's what happens. And that's what happened to your woman too. She finally realized she didn't deserve you. Sorry, but she didn't deserve you. She didn't deserve that treatment repeatedly. She deserved a boo that really cared about her and that would help her grow and flourish. Divine Feminines crave partnership. It's not codependency. You gaslit her into that. But the truth is, all she wanted was someone to have her back. And now she does. He's the big spoon. I'm sorry. I gotta tell you. I just heard that. I'm sorry to be on her bedroom. He's the big spoon. And what I mean by that is energetically. Even if he's the small spoon, he actually figuratively has her back and he takes care of her and he loves her. And that was created because here's what we do: we create from contrast. What you deprived her of was a contrast, and she realized, oh my God, this feels horrible. There's got to be more to life. There's got to be something better. And so she created it out of her pain. It was a painful endeavor, but she created love and manifested someone who actually cared about her because you wouldn't give her a hug, or you wouldn't be kind to her, or you threw women in her face, or you know what you did, right? So for anybody listening, that's how we create and how we attract. The relationship nourishment that I'm receiving now is a direct result of what was created when I was in lack in my past relationship. That person was purposely withholding. And I know that because with the person that they valued more, they did not withhold. They did adore. And now adoration is something that I mutually experience. It's not just one sided. I adore, she adores, we adore. I am valued and cared for in my friendship, in my connection. And that was something that someone withheld from me with absolute perfection and didn't think I deserved it. And that was the karma that she now has betrothed herself to. That's why I say apologize to your ex boo, sir. Because if not, whatever you gave her will only be given back to you. Not by her. She actually wants you to be happy, believe it or not. She wants you to move on and do whatever. If you wanted all those other bees, then go have them now. That's really how most divine feminists feel. They're like, well, have them, enjoy them, have a great life. I wanted a person. I did not want a flight. You know, when you go to the bar and you get a beer flight or a wine flight, I did not want to be on the roster on the team. I am the dream. Period. Okay, and so are you if you're listening, divine feminine. What she didn't want was to be in competition. She was not going to compete. A divine feminine never competes. An empress never competes because they know their worth. It doesn't matter if you think that she had no self-esteem because she was people pleasing you and Stepford wifing you. She knew her worth. Believe you. Now you see it. I know you see it. Now you see it. She knows exactly her worth. Yeah, I think she probably shocked you. And this is something that he did say, was that he was shocked by how confident she was. He didn't see that in her when they were together because you were abusing her. And so she was cowering, you know? But the whole time, and I will tell you this from my own experience, while that person was treating me like ish, every time she would love bomb me and be like, "Oh, we're twin flames," like on Grey's Anatomy, whatever. In the last like year before, I knew I was leaving her. Like I was absolutely leaving. I was like, "This is hilarious. I'm just watching you and just taking notes and writing a book." Really, is what I was doing. I was gathering information, just like she was gathering information, being spiteful. And I wasn't being spiteful. I used it for educational reasons, but she would love bomb me every time the person was cruel to her that she was pouring all this energy into, and in a way that I would never be cruel to her. And she would say all of this stuff, and I was like, man, you're gonna miss me. Like these are I would just kind of chuckle. I'd be like, oh boy, you're gonna miss me, girl. This is gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt real bad, because she was playing games with herself. And that's what I'm saying to you, sir. And I saw the way that she was depriving me purposely. I knew what she was doing, and I knew that she did it to hurt me. So God, get right with God, but apologize to your person if you can, because there's only a small window. That's the thing. Anybody listening that didn't apologize, let's say you found this video 7 years from now and you didn't apologize to your person within the window, there is a portal and there is a window with which you can do that where it's going to be meaningful. Usually while the person is still in fresh pain about you, it is incredibly meaningful and it can be incredibly healing. Usually what a narcissist or a really toxic person will do will withhold that, hoping that you're going to get less mad and they can come back and maybe hoover you or love bomb you. So for me, I understood how it works, so that I've been in this fight many times. And so I realized that there was a window. And I even told my person, the portal's closing, babe. It's a wrap. And she didn't understand. I didn't give her any more blueprints. She was lazy and not really smart, so she didn't like to figure things out on her own. I was always giving her the answers to the test energetically. And so I didn't this time. My angels were like, you can't. You have to let her figure this out. Actually, she has a window to apologize. Just like when the space shuttle goes up and they say there's a window and you got to get through that window, there is a window for your apology. You can't come back. You could come back in 20 years and apologize, but it's just not going to hit the same. Does that make sense? It's just not going to do the same healing, because to apologize when the wound is fresh is to put a salve of neosporin energetically over the wound so it can really heal. You might still be hurt. Might still miss your person. You might still be sad. You might still long for them, lust for them, or whatever. But if they apologize to you when you're down bad emotionally, the universe sees that and says, okay, we're going to adjust the karma for this person, meaning meaning like, yeah, you still have karma coming, but we're not going to make it be what the worst it can be, because at least you acknowledge that person's pain when you had done it to them freshly. So when that window closes, that person can't apologize to me about nothing, because I don't need her. Do you understand? What a narcissist will do with the withholding and the silent treatment is hope. They want you to need them and long for them and wish for them to come back and explain things. I don't need her to explain anything. I'm psychic, actually. It's on my resume. It's what I do. So that's just me. I don't know if that's you, but a lot of my divine feminines are highly intuitive and psychic too. I didn't need her to explain anything to me now. I know everything that happened and things that she probably doesn't even want me to know and things that she doesn't even know happened. Okay, so I understand the assignment. I understand exactly why she tried it. What I will tell you is, had she had apologized in the time frame when it was freshly pain for me, it would have been a different outcome for her, actually, in her life, right? Karmically, it would have been a different outcome. And that's what I said to this guy. I don't know the time frame and if she's still open. She's obviously got a new boo, whoever he's talking about, his ex. But if you apologize to her within the next few weeks or so, it's an eclipse, so this is a really lovely season to do it, you will alleviate some of whatever you've got coming to you, because you acknowledged her pain, which is a humane thing to do. It's just like when we're kids, right? If you cut someone or if you bite someone, what do they make you do? They make you apologize for causing a boo-boo. You cause someone an injury, you should apologize. It's a human thing to do. It's the right thing to do. You don't get to be wrong and strong and stuck in your rightness. And then when that window closes and she's over it, she's figured it out, she's prayed it out, she's, gone to therapy about it, or like me, she wrote a book, in whatever cathartic way she works out the pain, that person has nothing to offer me. She's useless in every way. She was always useless. Now she's absolutely abjectly useless to me. And that's a lot of the ways we look at our distorted masculine energy, because it's like, where were you when I actually needed you? Where were you when I needed you, when I was in fresh pain, when you would hurt me deeply? And I was articulating it. It wasn't like it was a secret. It's never a secret. We always say what the thing is, right? So that's what you need to know. If you still are in the open window, I would highly recommend you apologize. If you're a person that's midway a fuck up, I'd highly recommend you backtrack. The way that you will miss your person, I cannot speak it enough clearly to you. It will hurt you down to your toenails. You will miss her for the rest of your life. I know you guys think I'm exaggerating. I'm not. I have had conversations with people that are in their 60s and 70s, and they're like, does that person still think of me? Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Because it's girls too. It's not just men that always mess it up. There are women that are like, oh, I should have never treated that person that way. So, guys, please don't be that person. Like, love juicily, love freely, love openly, love completely, love consistently, love creatively, love communicatively. Don't withhold. And even if you can go back to the old person that you tried so much, you can give them an apology. And I'm not saying don't apologize in 20 years. I'm just saying it's not going to hit the same. For that person, they might be like, yeah, I always knew you were going to apologize, whatever. But when they're in the fresh pain, that's when you apologize. Just like when you get a fresh cut, that's when you dress it. That's when you put the peroxide. That's when you clean it. That's when you get the iodine and swipe it around. That's when you put the Neosporin and you put a bandage and tape it down. That's when you need emergent care, when the wound is fresh, not after a year, 2 years, 6 years, when they've already healed, they got a new boo, they moved on, they forgot about you. That's nice to hear the apology. It's never too late, I guess, to apologize. I mean, even though the song says so, but there is a window where it's going to make a difference and it's going to change your life and theirs, because you guys will have a merging of souls where you can exchange care. When I was talking to my person, she had lots of opportunities to apologize to me, but she didn't. She was still bitchy and snarky and bratty. She was hurt and upset because whatever situation she had poured all her time and energy into didn't work out. She didn't understand the irony of that, right? The irony of pouring time and energy into someone and they treat you like shit. Imagine that. So she wanted me to still fix that wound for her. Can you imagine? She wanted me to comfort her because she still wasn't whatever. She wasn't in love with the person yet. And yet, because she still had hope. That was the operative word. It's so funny to me. So, no apology could she give. And my angel said, don't worry, we'll fix it. And they did. Masculine listening. Don't you let their angels fix it first. Because once you do, you've completely lost your worth and you've lost your place. And what one of your punishment and karmas will be, I don't have to do a reading. It will be to watch them move on happily and mean it. See, the thing about divine feminines is we're not throwing stuff in your face, because a lot of divine feminines, when they come out of that situation, actually think they'll never have love again. They really are broken immediately after. And they're like, well, I guess that's it for me. I don't know what makes me so bad or why this happened to me, but I guess that's it. No, my loves, it's not it. You absolutely get what you deserve. And someone will come in and fill the deficit, but you have to choose you first. And that means staying away from someone who's love bombing you, who never would see your worth now until other people do. That was the thing that bothered me, is like, that person now was like, you're magical and people love you and whatever. She knew that anyway, and she would say that to me. But the issue was is she didn't want me to see it, and she didn't want to give that to me. She gave it to people that were cretins. So now with their cretins is where you lay. What I say? If you lay down with dogs, you'll get fleas. Now she's flea ridden. All the fries in the world, and they're cold and uneaten. Fantastic. So know your worth. You deserve it. And if they don't apologize in the window, then they're no longer anything to you. They are worthless. So apologize in the window. If you still have the window open to the kind sir that wrote me this letter, apologize. Because that's the only way that you're going to make anything better. You're not going to get her back, but you will heal a part of her heart, because she's still freshly hurt. If she's still freshly hurt. And if not, then it's in the dirt for you. And you might as well pour one out for your homie and move on and try to be a better boo to the next person. The odds are not in your favor. I'm going to be honest with you, because as I've seen, what happens is usually someone will allow you to have that experience. It's just an inevitable karmic reaction. God will allow you to feel what you created someone else to feel. That's what karma is. It's not about what someone wishes on you. It's about you feeling exactly as heartbroken, exactly as frustrated. I can't tell you how frustrating it is to deal with a masculine energy who is purposely going out of their way to misunderstand you and to create division, right? So you'll feel that frustration with somebody else who's wild. You will have an Amber Heard in your life. I don't wish it on you. I hope you do a lot of healing. I hope that you evolve. I hope you pray. I hope you stay celibate until you're ready to be in a relationship where you can actually communicate and have someone help you. That's what a relationship is about. They're a helpmate. They help you heal wounds. You have some, sir, or you wouldn't have done what you did. But that doesn't mean you can't be forgiven. I am not Jesus. I have no hell or heaven to put you in. But the maker of the suns and the skies and the clouds, he does. And he can help, energetically speaking. You deserve love too. But make your amends to your old boo in whatever capacity. And make it clear that you want nothing from her. I know, like if you're writing a letter, open it with, I want nothing from you. I just need you to know you are wonderful. You are wonderful, and you deserve happiness, and I'm sorry. These are that it could be 3 lines, sir. It doesn't have to be War and Peace. It could be 3 lines that could change your destiny and bring into you a more solid connection. It'll never be your divine feminine, but you can have love too. Yeah? We only get so many really, really solid boos. Don't take it for granted. All right, guys, so good to share energy with you. Come back and join me next time, and we will continue to evolve together.